Hi everybody, I am Dr. T. Manada Lakshmi, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, St. Joseph College, Kadalur. Today we are going to see about scheduling philosophy. There are two types of scheduling philosophy. One is non-preemptive scheduling, the other one is preemptive scheduling. What is non-preemptive scheduling? Let us consider that inside your CPU, a process has been running, and if a higher priority process is requesting the CPU, the running process cannot be forced to give the control, then it is called as non-preemptive scheduling. So if you are going to take a process, the process is being executed inside your CPU, at that time your CPU is nothing but your running state process. At that time, if a higher priority process enters the or requests the CPU, the running process cannot be forced to give up the control, then it is called as non-preemptive scheduling. See here, a non-preemptive scheduling philosophy means that a running process retains the control of the CPU. So the running process will be retaining the control, it will not be giving up the control of the CPU. Even if a higher priority process, so normally there will be two priorities, one is lower priority process, the other one is higher priority process. So even though if an higher priority process requests the CPU, the running process cannot be forced to give up the control, then it is called as non-preemptive scheduling. The other one is your preemptive scheduling. So the opposite of this non-preemptive scheduling is your preemptive scheduling. So similarly, we are going to have inside your CPU a process is being executed, and if the lower priority process is using it, and the lower priority process preempts from the CPU and gives the way for the higher priority process. So you are going to have inside your CPU, you are going to have a lower priority process, and if a higher priority process is going to request the CPU, at that time what will be happening is this lower priority process will be preempted and it will be giving option to your higher priority process to run to complete the work. So here if we are going to see the definition, a preemptive philosophy means the higher priority process is requesting for the CPU, it is going to request the CPU, and if the lower priority process is using the the lower priority process preempts or gives up. Preempts means it will be giving up from the CPU and gives ways for the higher priority process, even though the running process is not completed. The lower priority process, the running process not been completed, it will be giving the way, that is called as preemptive scheduling. So these are the two important topics, non-preemptive scheduling and preemptive scheduling. In short, you can remember as non-preemptive scheduling means if a higher priority process requests the CPU, and inside your CPU if a lower priority process is being present, it will not be giving way for your higher priority process. It will be retaining the control of the lower priority process if it is a non-preemptive scheduling. If it is a preemptive scheduling, what will be happening is it will be giving up whenever a higher priority process requests your CPU, it will be giving up. Okay, the lower priority process will be giving up to the higher priority process, and after completing it, again the lower priority process will be executed. So next we are going to see about the levels of scheduling. So when you are going to have your scheduling, the process scheduling, there are three levels of scheduling. One is long-term scheduler, the other one is short-term scheduler, the last one is your medium-term scheduler. So these are the three schedulers available. Now we can see, first if you are going to take your long-term scheduler, already we have seen this process state transition diagram. The same diagram here you are going to repeat it. Inside that you are going to put your long-term scheduler, your short-term scheduler and medium-term scheduler. So whenever a new process is going to get inside your ready state, which will be deciding it is your long-term scheduler will be deciding. So see in this diagram, a new process is entering inside your ready state. So this long-term scheduler will be deciding whether to place this process inside your ready state or not. If your main memory is full, it will be saying that the main memory is full, so it will not be able to store it in your ready state. So let us see the definition for your long-term scheduler. The long-term scheduler allows only a limited number of processes to be in the ready queue to control the degree of multiprogramming. If the ready queue is full, the long-term scheduler disallows the process. The work of your long-term scheduler is it will be admitting to your ready state if you have only less number of programs. If you have more number of programs, it disallows. The ready queue will be saying that the ready queue is full, so you have to wait. So that is the purpose of your long-term scheduler. So the long-term scheduler decides which process to be placed from your new state to your ready state. The next one, short-term scheduler. Short-term scheduler, if you are going to consider here, it is in between your ready state and your running state. Your running state is your CPU. Which process has to be placed inside your CPU will be decided by your short-term scheduler. So short-term scheduler is very important work. It is being carried out here. Ready state. From your ready state, you will be having some more number of processes. For example, if I am going to have third process, fourth process, fifth process, sixth process. In these process, which process has to be dispatched to your running state will be decided by your short-term scheduler. The next one is your medium-term scheduler. So before getting into this medium-term scheduler, we can see the definition for your short-term scheduler. The short-term scheduler decides which of the ready process should be dispatched to the running state or CPU. The next one is your medium-term scheduler. So see here, in the work of your medium-term scheduler is a process has been running inside your CPU. If a new process has to be executed immediately inside your CPU, we'll be stopping this process and will be putting it out in a state called as blocked and ready swapped out process. Why are going to put it in this statements? It is not going for an IO operation, or it is not gone for your ready state because of the time up. It is being put inside a state called as blocked and ready swapped out process. From your blocked and ready swapped out process, which process has to be placed inside your ready state will be decided by your medium term scheduler. So easily we can remember this diagram if you are aware of the process state transition diagram. Your process state transition diagram already we had discussed in the further sessions. So now if you are going to take your new state, from your new state it has to be going to your ready state. This will be decided by your long term scheduler. Short term scheduler will be deciding which of the process from your ready state it will be dispatched to your running state. So from your running state, if a process want to be stopped in some way, then it will be swapped out and put inside a state called as blocked and ready swapped out process. From that process, it will be moving to your medium term scheduler. The medium term scheduler will be deciding which process to be placed inside your ready state. So that is the work of your medium term scheduler. So sometimes if the main memory is full, it is necessary to swap out a running process and put it inside a new state called as block and ready swapped out process. When some memory gets free, the operating system looks at the list of swapped out process from your ready state and decide which one to swap in, and the function will be carried out by your medium term scheduler. Thank you.